This episode is brought to you by Ariston Specialties in Bloomfield, Connecticut, makers of amazing olive oils and other Greek delights. Check them out online at aristonspecialties.com. That's Ariston, Ariston, specialties.com. It's the Faith Middleton Food Schmooze Party podcast, and we're thrilled to be back with you. This is our new home. This is our podcast home, and we have a show that I am so excited about. I bet I could guess that all the other all-stars on the show are the same about this. We're just, yes. Mm-hmm. So, we can see each other, and someday we're going to fix it so you can see us too. But Chris
is holding up a bottle of clam juice.
Yeah, Bar Harbor.
That's the good one too.
Yeah.
What is our show today? Our show today is linguini and clam sauce. And the second I, put that out there, they all started writing to me saying, I love linguini and clams. I absolutely am crazy about linguini and clams.
Totally.
So, all right, let me introduce your familiar guests, and that would be Carl Franklin in Quaker Hill, Joanne Church in New London, and Chris Prosperi of Metro Beast in Simsbury, Connecticut. And can I say something? Chris has been on this show from day one. Mm-hmm. And that is, the 2,000-year-old man as far as I'm concerned. So linguini and clam sauce. Are we all on the same page about this? Is this like, Joanne, what about you? You're shrugging. Is that?
I'm not the biggest linguini and clam sauce person.
Ow.
Okay.
You're fired.
How? Have you? It's like the perfect food.
Well, listen, I make clam chowder, and I thought I could put that over linguini.
Throw some pasta.
It's the same thing, really. It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, that's your white sauce.
Little cream in there.
Heavy cream and butter, baby.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's no reason why linguini and clam sauce can't be made up of just exactly that. So you just make it your way. That's the thing I was thinking about. Do you feel this? You have linguini and clam sauce at different people's houses, and it's always different, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everybody's is different from everybody else's. Chris, do you feel that?
Oh, yeah. There's so many different recipes, and I have not just different people, but I have 4 or 5 recipes, and I just added a new one into my repertoire because I was telling Carl earlier, I've never made a red one. And someone asked me, and I was like, okay, I'll do a red clam sauce. So I made a red clam sauce. First time in as long as I've been making linguini and clams. And believe it or not, this goes back for me to high school because I learned how to make linguini and clam sauce from my shop teacher, and we made it in the metal shop.
Wow, what a great class.
Yeah.
Really? Seriously?
Yeah. Wayne Gemelli's Clam and Auto Metal Shop.
I think we should celebrate him. What is his name?
Wayne Gemelli. Yeah, and he taught me how to make clam and linguini, and I've been making it ever since. And to Wayne, to Wayne, and I've been tinkering with different recipes ever since.
That was my wine glass hitting the microphone, by the way.
There you go.
So if I was on a desert island, and the plane had crashed, and somehow I survived, and I was there, and I could have one thing, I might choose clams and linguini.
Oh, God, yeah.
I just can't imagine getting tired of it.
But no, it's a pantry dish.
Yeah.
For me anyway, right? Unless you're doing the fresh clams, which I do sometimes. But the regular one, it's really just, I have always in my pantry, and I don't keep, you know me, I don't keep a lot of food at home because I don't eat at home. But clam juice, clams in the little can, right? I get like 2 or 3 of those every time I go to the grocery store. And I'm a big fan of the Bar Harbor clam juice. Whenever I see this is on sale, I buy tons of it, like wipe them out. Go the next day, wipe them out again.
I didn't know this. I didn't know you did
Oh, yeah.
that.
This is the best clam juice. Anyway, and then pasta. So basically, it can be just a pantry, like perfect. I don't know what to make. I don't have any food. Boom. You make linguine and clam.
You got some garlic, some butter, some herbs.
Oh, yeah. Garlic, butter. And I put, like I said, I always put other stuff in it, but you don't have to.
No. So, Chris, go ahead.
I'll do the one I just came up with, which is the red one, because I've never done a red. I've always been a fan of the white. And I made this the other day for the first time, and I love it just as much as the white. And again, you don't have to use linguine. In this one, I used orecchietta. So whatever pasta, but if you're traditionalist, go with linguine. I started with a big saucepan to make my sauce. I did a couple strips of bacon, just chopped up, threw it in there. No oil needed because you get your bacon juice. Then a big white onion that I chopped up. I threw that in there. I threw a little celery in there. I don't usually do that, but this one I did. Lots of garlic. I put 6 cloves chopped up in there. I love dried oregano in there, so I put a little bit of that in. Some chili pepper flakes. And again, you're just sauteing all this up. The bacon, the onions, the celery, the garlic, the oregano. And it just keep cooking until you just get a little bit of color on those onions, and your bacon is cooked all the way through.
I was wondering if you were going to have some heat in there, if it was a red sauce. Almost like a Fra Diavolo kind of thing.
Yeah, a little chili pepper flake. Yes, just like a Fra Diavolo. And then I put in, one of those cans. I'm using the chopped tomatoes now, in the can instead of whole ones. So I had a 14, the normal 14.5-ounce can. I threw that in there and a bottle of my, clam juice. Get that nice, simmering away. And I let it simmer for 10, 15 minutes. And then, once that's going, then I drain my clams, right? Because they're in the little can. And you throw that liquid in there too. Let that cook, simmer a little bit. And then I just finish it with the clams that I reserved from the can, some Parmesan cheese, chopped parsley, toss the pasta in, let that all get all yummy. And oh my gosh, where's my glass of wine? Because I could eat I don't know. I could eat this every day. I don't know why. It's just the saltiness, the sweetness, right? It's just magic in a pan. And then you put bacon in and hello.
Wow. I know. I said to myself the other day that I had a doctor's appointment, just that yearly thing. And the doctor said, this is interesting. You've gained 30 pounds. I have. I said, what?
Mine doesn't say interesting. I wish my doctor said interesting.
No, well, then he said, push away from the table. But it was no.
Oh,
no, he didn't say that.
Carl, can we block him from this podcast?
Yeah, right.
No, but here's
the podcast for you.
Nothing to hear, nothing to see here.
Move along.
Move along.
This is not the podcast you're looking for.
Walk with me, people. Come on. So, it's only fair to say, to rat on myself that I gained 30 pounds during COVID because, I was in the house so much. I was so nervous about going out, except for walking Bon Bon, the other star of our show. And he, and so I would basically, go a little snack, a little piece of cheese, which all added up to about 30 pounds. And
if it makes you feel any better, I gained 40 pounds over COVID.
40? Yeah. Okay.
Oh, we're all there. I'm on the faith. I'm about 30.
Okay. Joanne's being very silent. I don't know what that means.
I don't think she gained any weight.
She doesn't want to be part of this conversation.
I walked so much during COVID. Seriously. Outside, hours. Yes. You know our neighborhood. It was just going round and round.
Yeah, around the circle.
All through the beach. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, good for you.
Anyway, we're going to take a quick little break now. And then when we come back, Carl is going to tell you about his clam business. Hi, we're here with you and with a brand new Food Schmooze podcast. And you can find us at faithmiddleton.com, and be sure to tell everybody you know, because the more people who listen, the more fun we have. Okay, so Carl?
Sure. So first of all, I don't eat linguini anymore, but I do have fond memories of the first time I tried linguini and clam sauce. I was probably 12, and my parents went out to dinner at Harborview in Stonington Borough. Do you remember that place?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it was just a wonderful place, and it's right on the water. And this Stonington Borough is where they filmed Mystic Pizza, by the way. Beautiful little, Portuguese community, and Harborview was just this wonderful place. So I remember they brought home leftovers, and it was linguini and clams. I had never even heard of that. I'm like, what? Clams? Pasta? What? I'm 12. What do I know, right?
Yes.
Did you like it?
So, of course, I devoured it. I was like, oh, my God, that's the best thing I ever ate. I got to have that some more. Yeah. So I really got into the idea of, clams and garlic and butter and Parmesan and parsley and all, in an intense clam sauce.
So, Carl, I know you're keto. You're the keto guy. And so you don't really even have to have the pasta. No. In fact, I've made a clam chowder, and that's CHOWDA for those who are paying attention. Yes.
And a keto clam chowder that I served to over 300 people twice, 2 years in a row at Keto Fest. And I have the recipe, and it's online. I'll post the link. But here's basically the secret is to take clam juice and reduce it to a third of its content. And Chris alluded to this, and he cooks his sauce down, and that just makes for a better clam chowder. And I had tried clam chowder at different restaurants, and this is before I went keto. And then I went to, I think it was Legal Seafood in Boston. I got some of their chowder. I was like, how is this so intense? And so the light went off. Of course, you reduce the clam juice, and they probably use a clam base. Yeah. Which is already like a paste.
Reduced,
Yeah. But I didn't do that. So what I do is I take clam juice and I reduce it, and I take roasted cauliflower, which I talked about before. You chop it into bites, roast it in olive oil, 300 for about 30, 45 minutes, and it gets all crispy and stuff. So then I use canned clams, and I use bacon and chopped celery, and my recipe doesn't have it, but the next time I make it, I'm going to add garlic just because why not? Yeah. We're going to use heavy cream and butter and some tarragon leaves.
What about white wine?
I don't have wine in chowder. I don't use it. But if I was going to make a clam sauce, I probably would.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I see. Chowder versus sauce.
But the thickener instead of flour is xanthan gum.
Oh, okay.
And today I might use glucomannan powder because it's a little less slimy than xanthan gum. Xanthan gum tends to get a little
boogery.
I got to say that sounds like something from another planet.
Gum.
What is that?
Well, xanthan gum is a gum that is made, believe it or not, from mold, and but it's used in foods as a thickener. It doesn't have any carbohydrates, but it can be a little slimy. So
like cornstarch.
Yeah, yes. Right. But so glucomannan powder is also known as konjac flour.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's made from a root,
like arrowroot too, right?
Yeah, and so that is a really nice thickener. I use that now. It's my go-to thickener.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Love it. Oh, yeah.
Reduce clam sauce and all that stuff. Put it together and yummy.
Sign me up.
Yeah.
And white pepper. Got to have white pepper.
You have to have white pepper.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Joanne, did you go yet?
Yeah, well, I could talk about the clam chowder, which isn't so keto friendly because I've got potatoes in it. But seriously, it's one of the easiest soups to make.
Yeah.
A couple tablespoons of butter in a pot, a couple stalks of celery chopped up, a medium yellow onion chopped up, a pound of potatoes chopped up in little 1/2 inch cubes. I will use like 3 tablespoons of flour to thicken it, a couple cups of chicken or vegetable stock. Maybe throw a couple bay leaves in there, a cup of heavy cream, and that's it. And then you just bring it to a simmer, and it can be done in 20 minutes. Oh, I forgot the clams, by the way.
Yeah.
And you do put a can or two, depending who loves it. They're not my favorite, but in clam chowder, I love it. And then to make it a little prettier, I'll use half a baguette and chop it up for crouton size, like 1-inch cubes. Put it in like 3 tablespoons butter, brown it up, and then like 3 tablespoons of chopped parsley. Throw in that and top that with the soup. It's so beautiful on a winter day. But now it can be over linguine or under those vegetable spirals. I never, ever thought of it until thinking about this show to use it as a sauce.
Yeah, those I really like vegetable spirals. And I will seek them out in the supermarket. I mean, there are all kinds of... I bought a device at one point where you could spiral your vegetables yourself. And I thought, that's another ridiculous thing that I purchased.
So good.
They sell the fresh ones.
It's like, where is that thing? But so now I just get them, like Jacques Pepin does. I just get them in the supermarket.
Already made, yeah.
Everything's already spiraled. And then I do all kinds of things with those vegetables. And that's a really great thing to have come around. I'm so glad it's here.
I should mention that I invented a kind of a keto pasta called Bazoodles, Bzoodles. And you can go to bazoodles.com for the recipe. But essentially it uses... egg whites and eggs and meat glue, which is also known as transglutaminase.
See, no, this is another name from outer space. Go
ahead. I know. I'm sorry.
No.
It's been used for years to, if you ever notice when you go to the deli and you get like turkey breast, how it's this big, enormous thing. You've never, ever seen a turkey breast that big. And yet they slice it and it looks like turkey because what they do is they glue together pieces of turkey and press it. And they use this meat glue. And it's safe and it's been used for years. Yeah. Hot dogs have it.
I have never heard this before.
Yeah. And so what it does is it binds proteins together molecularly. And so if you use it with eggs and egg whites, you can make an omelet with it, really thin omelet, flip it, cut it into pasta, and it's really good.
Good stuff.
Wow, that's cool. That's really cool. Okay, so
how about you, Faith?
Yes. How about me?
Yeah, how about you?
Your turn.
So I was all over the internet today looking at, various people's ways of making, clams and linguine and just loving all of them, frankly, and then I came to Lydia Bastianich.
Love her.
I just went berserk.
Any relation to Joe Bastianich, the restaurateur?
Is she related, did you say?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. She's a mom.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Matriarch of the family.
Wow, that's so awesome.
Yeah. So she makes this linguine and clam sauce that is just so simple and spectacular. You just go, that's the sauce I want on my desert island when the plane crashes. So, she says, well, first you slice up some garlic and she chop. Big pieces of garlic, chop. And she says, and then you put it in some olive oil in the bottom of this pan. And I'm looking at it, I'm thinking already this is good.
Yeah, right.
So, and then she starts layering things and not in a fancy way. She puts in, over in this pot, she said, okay, I think I'll start cooking the pasta over here. And, we like linguine, the Italians, we like linguine. And so that's going to be cooking over here in this pot. And she said, and then we're going to put, we do the chopped garlic, and then we're going to put maybe some onions. And she takes a little rosemary and this kind of stalk and she just brushes it against her hand a little bit, and so there's not very much that comes out. And she throws that in.
Wow, very
next.
Cool.
Yeah, it's really it's an interesting flavor to add in.
Sure.
And then she and then she's stirring everything around. She's stirring the pasta. She's stirring these spices and things, and then she puts the clams into. She gets, Chris, you know how we were talking about whether it's better to go to the fish market and get a bunch of clams that are fresh from the market, or is it better to get
clams?
Yeah. And we've had it both ways, and it's been great. So she gets the real clams, and then she throws that into her pot, and she starts stirring. It's not complicated. I might be making it sound complicated, but I swear
you're just
it's not.
stirring it all together.
She's like stirring things, and then she said, "Okay, and now we're going to put the linguini in with the other stuff in this pot, and we're going to put it all together, and we're going to just stir it a little bit. We're going to put the lid on. We're going to let it cook for a few minutes." She doesn't even give the minutes. She just let it cook for a few minutes, and she said, "Then we're going to, everything goes together." She dumps everything into everything, stirs it up, and then she says,
"You wait one glass of wine later."
Yeah. She says, "Now watch this." She said, "This is what we Italians do." She said, "Do you think we want to, do the spoon and the fork and all this stuff that other people do?" She said, "No, we don't want that." She said, "We want to just come over to the corner." Oh, I forgot. Oh, my God. How could I forget this? She puts a couple anchovies in there.
Of course.
I was thinking about doing that, but I've never seen a recipe for it. Now I'm going to do it in my next one. Just push it up in there.
That
makes sense.
She did this. This is that's one of my favorite things,
That's an umami bomb right there.
And they melt into the sauce, And so everything's all tossed in together now in the frying pan, and she's stirring it around, and she says, then she starts serving it, and she serves it into this kind of mountainous peak.
Nice.
And then she puts the whole clams that she's put in, and she stacks them all up on the top of the pasta.
Nice.
Oh,
nice.
Yes. So you know where they are. You can get right to them.
Sign me up.
We don't. She said, "We don't do any of this stuff where you do have a spoon and then you twirl, and then you just take it over to the side of your plate, and you do a little twirl." And she said, "And then it goes in your mouth," and then she puts it in her mouth. I was like, "Oh my God,
wow.
I'm in love with her."
She's great.
Yeah.
She's just really great.
So I'm definitely going to post a link. I know that name because Joe Bastianich is one of the hosts of MasterChef, and he's on the Food Network and stuff. He's a restaurateur.
Yeah.
Yep. So, but I never knew that his mother, and he's not really a cook, he's a restaurateur, but
wine guy.
Yeah, and a wine guy, right. So, but I'm going to look up his mom. Wow.
Oh,
Lydia.
my God.
Oh.
Her restaurant.
Yeah. Please call me when you do, because you're going to go cuckoo.
Yeah.
You're just going to go cuckoo.
Do they have a restaurant in New York?
Oh, few.
Yeah, they have. Well, they have several, but they have. Let me see. What's the name? Fidelia.
Fidelia. Yep, that's one
Fidelia,
of them.
right? And that's the really good Italian.
All right. Well,
one.
I'll pick you up on the way down.
Okay. All right, that's a deal.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I got a question for all of you guys, and that is, if you're going to dress a pasta dish with cheese, Parmesan is like the go-to, Parmigiano Reggiano, but I prefer Pecorino Romano. What do you guys put on yours?
Oh.
Yeah, I am Romano first, but if there's no Romano and there's Parm, I'm totally okay.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not, but definitely Pecorino is my first choice, but Parmesan is just as good.
And Parmigiano Reggiano, you got to have that or any Parmesan.
Oh, yeah.
The Reggiano, the real stuff.
I'd go for any of it, really. Just I'd go, sure, just put it on there.
Just give it.
We always have blocks of Parm in our refrigerator, so that would be my go-to to shave it on because it's always there.
I used to do the block, but now I just buy the little baggie, from the grocery store. They
Pre-shredded.
grind it for you. Yeah, they shred
Well,
it
it's
for
hard to eat it, and it's hard to eat it
Oh,
as
when
an
you
appetizer.
see- but that's why I do it. Then I'm not eating.
Maybe.
Every time Kelly and I, that's my wife, we go to Tony D's down here in New London, which you guys have to go to if you've never been here.
Oh, yeah,
I
the
know
best.
that place.
I've been there.
Amazing. She gets chicken parmesan, and the guy stands over her with a bowl of parmesan, and she's like, one more. Hey, why don't you just leave the bowl?
Nice.
Yes. Oh, I never thought of asking for the bowl.
They never have. They laugh like, ha ha ha, isn't that funny? And then they take it away.
Yeah, $20
like, I'm
a
serious,
pound.
man, come on here.
It's hysterical.
At Hot Tomatoes in Hartford, they give you a little bowl.
Do they?
And you can ask for more, and they'll
Nice.
over what you want.
I like that. Yeah.
Did I don't think I ever told you this story about, I was with Jane and Michael Stern, and we went to this Italian restaurant that was just opening, and they were doing restaurant reviews for the Hartford Courant, Northeast Magazine. And so we go in and we sit down. We make reservation. We're happy we can get the reservation because it was just opening.
Mm-hmm.
And they come out and they start putting truffles on our food. And they were cutting and cutting and cutting and cutting and cutting the truffles. And that, our eyes were getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I mean, it must have been $500 worth of truffles on the pastas that we had. And we were like,
I think you told this story.
Did I?
Yeah, you didn't say, okay, that's enough, and they were waiting for you, and then $500 worth of truffles later, somebody said,
no,
is that enough?
Was
that a different story?
That was another restaurant where I behaved badly.
Oh,
This is another place where I was
behaving bad. Faith Middleton behaving badly at restaurants.
a good book,
Faith gone
it?
wild.
Yeah.
No, I like behaving badly. So we're in this thing and we're reviewing it. And so we're sitting in there and so one of the people at our table says, you know what, I'm going to go in the kitchen and see what's going on in there.
Yeah.
So, because I don't quite know. So he, this is opening night. He goes into the thing and then, about 10 minutes later, he comes out and he sits down and we're all just staring at him. And he says, there's a lot of Coke in there. And I don't mean Coca-Cola.
Oh, man.
Wow, this is the 80s then.
Yeah. He said there's a lot of Coke in there, and they're just having a ball giving us stuff.
I bet.
Where's the
my
boss?
God, it was so
right? I mean,
He was probably in the middle of it all.
Cocaine for all the guests. Truffles for everyone.
Oh.
I just have to ask, you don't have to say, but is the place still open? No.
No, I wouldn't say one word about that because I wouldn't want to,
They're not.
Oh, you know? Joanne knows.
Joanne was there.
It was my first chef job. And my last.
Oh, too funny.
I'm kidding.
Of course you're kidding.
Right.
Yeah, sure you are. Okay, well, that's the Food Schmooze this time.
Yeah.
And, it's been an absolute ball to be here. My dog, Maban, slept through the whole thing. I'm a little
He doesn't like
insulted.
chowder.
He didn't hear us talking about
He doesn't like
insulted.
clams.
I know.
He didn't hear the
He's like,
bacon word enough.
So we're going to be here next week, as always. This is our new podcast home at faithmiddleton.com. And we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Waiting for the summer to come.